Hey guys, this is Ducky. I'm going to be showing you guys how to peek like an immortal or radiant player in the map Ascent. So I know I usually do coaching videos, but and don't worry, there's still gonna be more on the way. But I figured, along with some people that recommended this, that I should make some other like guide
Careful at
videos,
the edges. Not
just
sure
because
if I could
I've
catch you in time if you fell off.
a slightly
I mean,
larger audience
I'd
now,
try, of course. My
and
ult's
I
ready
think it
for
might
the
be
strike.
beneficial if I made some guides for you guys. This could be a little more broad, not just to like a duelist or to jett, but we'll see what we can do here. So we're gonna start in A. So usually when people peak in lower ranks, there's a few things that can happen. Lower rank people can be they can either be scared to peak, so they'll just kind of like sit here and not peak, or they can peak like this. Like they can just a lot of times lower ranks will just run A main or run B main on any map, and they don't realize that you should be walking. And so this all kind of has to do with peaking. So what you'll see really high rank players or really good players do, they'll pretend like there's a chance that someone could be anywhere. So like
Here,
here's a chance there's gonna be someone there. That's a spot someone can be. This is a spot
here.
that someone can be. And so if you're to go like this, then you're exposing yourself to both of these spots. So what you want to do, this is a mechanic called jiggle peeking, which if you've watched my other videos, you've seen me coach this a couple times. And so you want to like kind of go like this, and then as well you can place your crosshair at around head height here. So, and if you really want to get fancy, you can pre-fire um, the angle there, but you have to stop whenever you shoot for a second, and then the point of jiggle peeking is to move back behind cover. So you get this bit of information for like a split second, so there's a very low chance they can kill you, and if you jiggle a few times and no one's peeking, you can go ahead and clear this angle. Again, this is this is ASCENT, but it does apply on any map. So yes, this is kind of how it would look. But yeah, like I said, lower rank players you'll see just kind of run like this. So if you're ever running, unless you can run it in certain scenarios, but if this is at the start of the round, you don't want to just run off rip because for one, you're giving away your position. People around the enemy team are going to rotate and they're not going to be
Here,
leaving. Whereas if you walk and then say someone makes noise
here.
on your team here and here that's lurking or something, someone might actually leave on the enemy team. Whereas if you make a noise here, it's all bad for your team. You're not going to have a chance. If anything, it's going to be another person coming to the site, which is just bad. So you want to make no noise. And then so yeah, do these two jiggles. If you do it early enough in the round, they won't be able to be wine, unless this is like smoked or something. Um, so then, of course, this is even more. There's more areas that they can be here.
Here.
So you have to be like
Here.
quite careful. They can be in even more spots than that. So what you want to do is kind of take it one, like jiggle out slowly, um, and then like make sure you're clearing each spot individually. So for example,
Here.
I clear this part of sight here just to make sure there's no one there, and then kind of look up at this corner of heaven, look behind these boxes, and notice how I'm not just running out like this. Because yeah, low rank players here like duelists are supposed to be aggressive. I'm supposed to make space, and they run out like this, and like why'd I die? Well, that's because you're exposing too much of yourself. And even if you jiggle like this, you'll still probably gonna die some of the time, but you'll definitely die less of the time. So from here, like again, this applies to any character. It doesn't matter if you're a duelist or not. So I'm not really gonna talk about entering into sight, just because that's kind of a duelist thing. So if you're like a sage, you're probably not gonna be running out sight first. But if you are the last alive as sage, all this stuff about jiggle peeking still applies to you. Because if you're sage, you don't want to go like this. If you're jett, you don't want to go like this. If you're any character, you don't want to go like this. So this is something that's very good to learn, for sure. And so again, minimizing as much as you can, and then you kind of cross here. If you notice no one sees you in this specific area on this map, you can cross from here to here, and then you can kind of, because people, if they don't see you and then they
Here.
come back heaven, then you can kind of catch them off guard here real quick, and then you can enter into sight. But we won't talk about that. So we go and talk about mid now. Then I'll go tiles, and then I'll go B main. So um. So for mid, for this, if you have a smoke on your team, you really want to ask them to smoke
Here.
this. Especially if they have enough money to buy an op, because this is like a really common angle for an op to hold. And also, if you ask them to smoke, make sure you wait until the smoke fully pops. So yeah. So after that smoke pops, or if you just want to push up on against their eco round, it's fine, because worst case scenario, they have a sheriff, but you can still get tapped by that, of course. So you can walk up like this. Make sure you're looking over here, because if you have no teammates over there, then they can push from B main. So yeah, and they can also technically be
Here.
in these two sides. It's kind of uncommon, but there's not really much you can do about it. So you can just kind of assume that they're not going to be there. If you die, you die. It's unlucky. Hopefully your teammate trades you. So again, here we're back to jiggling, because where can they be here? They can be here,
Here.
they can be here, and they can be on top of
Here.
this box. So how I like to clear this is jiggle this a few times, and if they're not there, put my crosshair up here, and then maybe look here again, and then slowly shift walk up. And now I know I'm safe here on cat. The only place they can come from is either, of course, behind me, or they can walk
Here.
up here. So I place my crosshair here, expecting someone here. And now I jiggle again, make sure they're not right here, and then jiggle for garden.
Here.
And then always clear this corner on ASCENT, because this is a spot that I for sure like to play right here. Yeah, it's just really sneaky and really good for getting a couple people, as well as up here. So the reason I'm not going to be showing you guys as much defensive spots is because really on defense, you don't really want to be jiggling too much. That doesn't mean you can't jiggle on defense or that jiggling on defense is bad. It just means that you don't really want to be taking as many fights on defense. Like, if you think about defending, like if I were to sit here the whole round, or like until we had contact, this is a perfectly fine play, because on defense, the enemies come to you. On attack, you have to make space and open up the site and go to the enemies. So that's why jiggling on attack is especially important. So kind of like this, and then, you know, here, and then now where can they be? Always have to ask yourself, where can they be, so you can know what you need to jiggle. So they can be in this
Here.
corner, or they can be like close to you. So you basically want to just clear this. They can also be over here. So if this door is not closed, then you know, jiggle like that. But then if you jiggle like that, then they can see your gun right here. So it is a bit of a problem. And from here, I suppose we can talk about sight, but you want to kind of look here. And you also don't have to jiggle everything. I'm just showing you what it would look like if you were to jiggle everything. Particularly, you just want to jiggle if you think there's a high chance someone's going to be where you're jiggling. So like if you know someone in the last 3 rounds you've been attacking has jiggled or has played in, like, say, tree right here, then you want to be extra cautious clearing cat and jiggle cat here, just like this, just because you know, if they've been playing in the last 3 rounds, there's a good chance they're going to continue playing somewhere toward cat. So now here, they could be in a few places. Up here is one of them, and then of course this corner. They can also be pushed A main if you have no teammates there, although that's kind of unlikely. So yeah, you can get the spike down. Go ahead and go over to tiles. Swap to the 8K because that's kind of a little bit better for this. So from tiles, there are definitely a few spots. So the thing about fighting Kaz, they can actually cross here without you being able to see them at the start of the round. So one thing, I mean, if you're Jett, you can actually go like this and just see if they're doing that, but that's not going to be super helpful. You can just kind of assume that they're there. They can also be there, they can be here. People like to sit all the way back here. Sometimes pizza, but kind of rare. So first thing you jiggle is, of course, like this. You kind of, I'll jiggle a little extra because, especially if you know you're playing against an aggressive duelist, you want to go like this. And so next, you can kind of hide this angle from yourself by going over here and then clear people, especially like to sit right there on defense. So be careful of that. And then again, replace your crosshair here just to see if anyone's going to be peeking. Sometimes you have a more sneaky player sitting here just waiting for the right opportunity. So yeah, and then you can clear here, and again, if you're nervous they're going to come from here, go like this, and then hopefully you have something for flank, like a sentinel, sentinel utility for covering that. But if not, you can sit here like this for a little bit. Probably don't want to stay here too long, just because unless you're in like a 1v4 and you think they're going to be pushing, this is a good idea. But probably not. Sorry for my voice, by the way. I think I'm somewhat sick. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, crosshair here, especially right here and right here. These are very common places for people to peek from. Sometimes people come all the way out here. Pizza is less common, but again, so coming up mid here, you notice I have 2 corners I have to clear, here and here. Technically there as well, but what I like to do is just commit to one. I don't know how I choose, but sometimes I think I just clear to the left because like to assume people like to sit on the high ground there. And then if there's no one, I quickly check here. And then yeah, if I die in the back, getting shot in the back of the head, hopefully teammate will just trade me. From here you can walk up. I like to walk up on the left, clear pizza, and then you can kind of keep jiggling, but from this point, it's kind of making it to site. So make sure you clear all your stuff, and you're just running to site. You can jiggle however you'd like there. But for the sake of a slightly shorter video, I'm gonna go ahead and go over here. This is where I'd use the Phantom again. So if you're attacking B on Ascent, then you're probably gonna be playing against a Sova or some kind of Sentinel like Killjoy. So how I would play this, if you know you're against a Sova, just wait for the darts to come through here, because almost always they will. Unless you're against a very good Sova that knows how to have good timing. So you don't need to jiggle this, because obviously this is where you start. Unless the darts are coming through, then you need to wait and jiggle like this, because then they can dart while an enemy pushes up like this. So I would start jiggling preemptively just to see if someone's pushing. And if they're not pushing, it's really important to jiggle like these spots, just because people really like to sit here a lot. And then I'd alternate between putting my crosshair like this and just to like be prepared for the worst. If so, like say the reason I go in like that is because if I jiggle like this for a little bit and then I'm like, oh, they're not there, that doesn't mean that they can't come from there, right? So like I jiggle there and then I'm ready to just jiggle here. That doesn't mean that they can never come from here. So that's why I'm kind of like going like this. You don't really need to jiggle this. I like to just kind of like walk out. You can kind of strafe though. I guess that is jiggling. You can jiggle logs. You can jiggle here. You can jiggle like this, like this. And again, if you feel like they're gonna come from here or you hear them, then you can just minimize the angle. Minimizing the angles if you're jiggling like this. Then you just close yourself off to just this one angle right here, so you can just fight the one person instead of being at risk of having to fight to both of these people here. So yeah, we can go like this, and then from here you're basically in the same spot as over here, and you can kind of just wait. If you're not seen, you can just wait and listen. Sometimes people give you a free kill right here, or as they're rotating from CT. And at this point, again, it's just making it to site. So yeah, I just want to show you guys how to jiggle peek to get control of these areas, because pushing on the site, it doesn't really require as much jiggle peeking, because usually on the site you're just running. Again, like I said, in B main, or like I said in A main, you should be walking here. If your team's running, your team's just full sprinting. Sometimes, because if just one person sprints, it kind of ruins the whole push. It doesn't ruin it because you can still get kills, but if someone sprints and there's like a Viper or Killjoy here and they have this site locked down, I would just suggest rotating and like lurking somewhere else while your team tries to do the circus gymnastic play over there at B main. So yeah, but if you guys are just running it down because it's an easy game, that's fine. But if it's a close game and you guys know, you know for a fact that you're gonna want to walk for the picks, then either let your team know, and if they don't, even after you let your team know, then just play somewhere else. I find myself playing kind of alone a lot of time to open up picks. Not that I'm like lurking, but for example, if we're going B, I like to fight mid to try to walk up their market, or sit here and cut off people that are trying to rotate. This is kind of it's a pretty smart play. You can go do the same thing here. So like your team's 3 or 4 going out A main, you can come up cat and then do the jiggle peeking like I said, and then you're basically just splitting. But you can lurk as well. Lurking is okay, but I wouldn't lurk every round just because you know, there's obviously downsides to that. Your team kind of needs you to make space to at least some extent. So if you're not, because like what happens here is I'm not like running out dashing into site or whatever, but I am coming up here, and if 3 of my teammates are making noise here, then I'm in a very good spot to just shoot like 2 or 3 in that side of the head here, and then open up the site. So I'm technically making space still. But yeah, I hope this guide is useful. It's a little shorter than normal. I'm gonna be coaching 2 more people today, or at least that is the plan. So yeah, if you guys have any more requests for guides, then just let me know in the comments. I'll be glad to pop out a quick video like this whenever, if this is helpful. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe.